Hi, my name is Mr. Chu and welcome to my study room. Today I'm solving objective questions 3, 13, 22, 29, 30, 32, and 37 of the 2023 WASSCE General Mathematics paper written by Ghana. I've decided to put these questions together because all of them are under the same topic and it makes sense to solve all of them in the same video. Let's move on to question 3, which says that a rectangular tank of size 4 meters by 8 meters by 11 meters has the same volume as a cylindrical tank of height 7 meters. Calculate the base radius of the cylindrical tank. Take pi equals 22/7. The key facts in this question are the fact that there is a rectangular tank of size 4 meters, 8 meters, and 11 meters. And has the same volume. This is very important. Same volume with a cylindrical tank of height 7 meters. And what we are solving for is the base radius of the cylindrical tank. Right. So already this question is talking about two volumes. The volume of a rectangular tank and that of a cylindrical tank. So it will be appropriate for us to write the two volumes. So let me call the volume of the rectangular tank V subscript R. Since the tank is rectangular, that is more or less like a rectangular prism. So it will be L times B times H. And in this case, they didn't show which of them is what, but the three dimensions are here anyway. So let me take 11 to be the length times 4 times 8. Multiplication is commutative, so it doesn't matter which one we bring first either way. And when we multiply all three of them, we should have 352 cubic meters. Remember, is volume, and volume is in cubic units. Then we take that of the cylindrical tank, and again, that will be the volume of a cylinder. Let me call that V subscript C to show the volume of a cylinder. And the formula for the volume of a cylinder is the base area, which is a circle. So pi r squared times height and then h. And this is pi given us here. And the height is also 7. And the radius is what we are solving for. So that will be missing. So substituting that, you're going to have 22/7 times, let me bring the r last, 7, which is the height, and then times r squared. This and this cancel out. So that's going to give us 22 r squared. And now the question says that the rectangular tank has the same volume as the cylindrical tank. And same means they are equal, right? So that means that V subscript R will be equal to V subscript C. Then we solve for R. That simply means 352 should be equal to 22 r squared. We're solving for r, so we divide both sides by 22. And 22 cancel out 22. 22 will divide 352 16 times. So 16 will be equal to r squared. We take square root of both sides. And 4 will be equal to r. So looking through the option, the correct answer is option C. So r equals 4 meters. We take the next question. Question 13 reads that a sector which subtends an angle of 150 degrees is cut from a circular plate of radius 14 centimeters. Find correct to 1 decimal place the perimeter of the remaining plate. Take pi equals 22/7. So we start by underlining the key facts from the question as usual. So the question says that the sector of a circle subtends an angle of 150 degrees is cut from a circular plate of radius 14 centimeters. So it's cut from it. And we have to find correct to 1 decimal place. Very important information. The perimeter of the remaining plate. So a part is removed and the remaining plate is what we are finding the perimeter for. Let me try sketching our plate. Alright, so this is the sketch of my circle or circular plate, and I've decided to show the angle of the remaining plate instead of showing where it has been cut off. So this side has been cut off, and you know a complete circle is 360 degrees. So if 150 degrees has been cut from it, then the part left will be 210 degrees. And going further into the question said the radius of the circle is 14 centimeters. So this is 14 centimeters, and we have to find correct to one decimal place the perimeter of the remaining plate. So perimeter is the total length around the thing. That means the perimeter is going to be R plus L, where L is the length of the arc from here to here. So the length of this arc, and that means we have to find arc length to get the length of this arc. And the formula for arc length is theta, which is the angle subtended by the arc, over 360 times the circumference of a circle, which is 2 pi r. So in this case, the length L, which is our arc here, will be equal to 210 divided by 360 times 2 times 22 over 7 times 14. 30 will go here 7 times, and go here 12 times, and then this 2 goes here 1 and goes here 6, and then this 7 divides here 1 and divides here 2. 2 divides here 1, divides here 3. So the length L now becomes 7 times 22, which is 154 divided by 3, which will be equal to 51.3 centimeters. So coming back to the perimeter here, the perimeter of this sector of the circle will now be P equals R raised 14 plus 14 plus 51.3, which when we put all together will give us 79.3 centimeters. And looking through the options, that is option B, 79.3 centimeters. We move on to the next question, question 22. Question 22 says that the base radius and slant height of a solid cone are 8 centimeters and 14 centimeters respectively. Calculate correct to 2 decimal places its volume. Take pi equals 22 over 7. Let me quickly sketch how our diagram is supposed to look like. Alright, so this is the picture of a cone, and the question says that the base radius of the cone is 8 centimeters. That means we have 8 cm here, and the slant height of the cone is 14 centimeters. So this is 14 centimeters. Calculate correct to 2 decimal places the volume of the cone. So we start by writing the formula for the volume of a cone, and that is V equals 1/3 pi r square h. But you can see that from all of this, the h is not given in the question. So we have to use this diagram here to solve for the h before we come back to solve for the volume. Taking this cone here, the h here forms the perpendicular height of the cone. So this is a right angle. It forms a right angle with the base radius. So if that is it, then we need to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the h, which is the missing part. And we know that that will be h squared plus 8 squared will be equal to 14 squared. And making h squared a subject, you're going to get 14 squared minus 8 squared. And from your calculator, h squared will be equal to 132, which is 14 squared minus 8 squared. And how do we solve for h? By taking the square root of both sides, and h becomes 2 root 33, which is approximately 11.49 centimeters. So we now get this as the height of the cone But then in this case, since this is not the final answer, I will not use the approximation. It might not be wrong, but I want to use the actual number and approximate the final answer. So I will use 2√33 as the height of our cone into the volume formula. So let's go ahead and work out the volume of the cone. So the volume will now be 1/3 times 22/7 times 8 times 8, or just 8 squared is the same thing, times 2√33, which is the height. And when we put all of this into our calculator, we are going to have V to be equal to 2816√33 divided by 21, and that is approximately 770.32 cm cube. Or those who would like to work out with decimal, you're going to get 16176.69 divided by 21, which is the same number, approximately 770.32 cm cube. And looking through the options, the correct answer is going to be option B. Alright, the reason why I didn't use this is that if you approximate it a bit early, your answer will be close to this. You're looking through the possible answers, you can still see that it will be close to this, but you might not get exactly that. That's why it's always advisable to work out with numbers and approximate your final answers. So that is how we got the volume for this cone to 2 decimal places. Let's move on to the next question. Question 29 reads that a cylindrical container closed at both ends has radius 5 cm and height 10 cm. Calculate, correct to 2 decimal places, the total surface area. Take pi equals 22/7. Let me try again to show the picture. I'll represent a cylinder here. Right here is the picture of a cylinder, and the question said the cylindrical container is closed at both ends. So that's a very important information. That means there is a base and there is a lid. Then the radius is 5 cm. Very important information. So this is 5. And the height is 10 cm. So this is 10. And the question is for us to calculate to 2 decimal places the total surface area. So by this, we'll have to first of all think of what the total surface area is. That is why this is a very important information, because the surface area of a cylinder is dependent on whether it is a hollow cylinder, open cylinder, or a closed cylinder. So if that is a closed cylinder, it means that the total surface area is going to be the area of the base here, let me call it A1, the area of the lid, let me call it A2, and then the curved surface area, let me call it A3. So it means that the total surface area, let me call it TS, will be area of the base plus area of the lid plus the curved surface area. Alright, so the base is a circle, and the area of a circle is pi r squared. The lid is also a circle, so pi r squared. And the curved surface area is 2 pi rh. And this are like terms, so we can put them together. That will give us 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. But then 2 pi r is common to both of them. So we can factor the 2 pi r out to get 2 pi r. When we divide this by that, we're going to get r plus. When we divide it, we get h. And the most important part is this one. When you pick the information and you substitute into this, you get the same answer as substituting into this or substituting into this. So it depends on which one you want to work out with. But I want to work with short expressions, so I will simplify and fix it into this one. So substituting the information, we're going to have 2 multiplying 22/7, which is pi, times radius is 5. Then the whole of this is multiplying 5 plus 10, which is the height of the cylinder. Simplifying further with our calculator, we're going to have 220 over 7 multiplying 15. And when we work that further, we're going to have 31.4286 multiplying 15. Or you just go ahead to put the whole of this into your calculator, or even the whole of this into your calculator, whichever, to get 471.4286. And our question is for us to round our final answer to 2 decimal places. So when we do that, we are going to have approximately 471.43 square centimeters, because that is area. And that is option C. We move on to the next question. Question 30 states that the size of a scalene triangle are 4 centimeters, 9 centimeters, and 11 centimeters. Calculate correct to the nearest whole number the area of the triangle. So this information is quite straightforward. We've been told that the triangle is a scalene triangle, which means all the sides are not equal, and that can be seen from the length of side given here. No two of them are the same, or even all three. So that shows that it's a scalene triangle indeed. And we are to calculate to the nearest whole number. Very important. Our final answer should be rounded to the nearest whole number, the area of the triangle. So, the main task here for us will be to calculate the area of this triangle. Well, we don't know the height, but then we are to calculate the area. So when all three sides of a triangle are given and you don't know the height of the triangle and you cannot easily calculate the height, the formula we can use to calculate the area will be area equals the square root of s multiplying s minus a, also multiplying s minus b, and then multiplying s minus c, where s is a plus b plus c all divided by 2, and a, b, and c are the three sides of the triangle. So in this case, we can say that a equals 4 centimeters, b equals 9 centimeters, and c equals 11 centimeters. So s will now be 4 plus 9 plus 11 all divided by 2, and that will be equal to 24 divided by 2, which is also 12. So this is s. And now the area of a triangle is going to be square root of 12 multiplying 12 minus 4, also multiplying 12 minus 9, then multiplying 12 minus 11. And simplifying that further, we're going to have 12 multiplying 12 minus 4 is 8, multiplying 12 minus 9 is 3, and then 12 minus 11 is 1. And that will be square root of 288, and that will be 16.9706. And to the nearest whole number, because that's what the question said, will be 17 square centimeters. And looking through the option, that is going to be option B. We move on to the next question. Question 32 says that the height of a square base pyramid is thrice the length of a side of each base. If the base area is 324 centimeters squared, find the volume of the pyramid. Again, let's try to figure out some facts from the question. And one of the most important facts from here is that the pyramid has a square base. Okay, it's a pyramid. That is another important information, but it has a square base. That's the most important thing. And then its height is thrice the length of the size of its base. And then we'll be given the base area as 324 centimeters, and we have to find the volume of the pyramid. If the base is a square, then it means that its area will be L squared or S squared, whatever you want to say, length or size squared. And then that means that L squared, which is the area, equals 324 square centimeters. And then taking the square root of both sides, because we're solving for L will be equal to square root of 324, which equals 18 centimeters. So the length of the base, which is a square, one side is 18 centimeters. And now we go back to the question. The question says that the height is thrice the length of the base. So now that we know the length of the base, it means that the height h will be equal to 3L, which when we substitute the length, we're going to have 3 times 18, and that is 54 centimeters. So the height of the pyramid is 54 centimeters. And now we go ahead to solve for the volume now, because that's what we're working for. And the general formula for the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 times the base area times the height. So in this case, we're going to have 1/3 times the base area is 324 times the height, which is 54. And then when we work everything with our calculator, we should get 5,832 cubic centimeter, because it's volume. And when we look through the options, that is option A. And then we move on to the last question for this study, and that is question 37. It says that a woman pours 85 liters of kerosene into a cylindrical container with radius 7 centimeters. Calculate correct to the nearest centimeter the depth of the kerosene in the container. Take pi equal 22/7. The fact we have here is that the volume of the kerosene we are pouring is 85 liters. And the container is cylindrical. Very important, because the shape of the container will tell us which formula we should use to calculate the volume. And the radius is 7 centimeters. Here we are to calculate to the nearest centimeter, meaning the nearest whole number, the depth of the kerosene in the container. Since the radius is in centimeters and the volume or the capacity is in liters, it will be very important for us to get both of them to be in the same unit. And I think it will be easier to change the liters to centimeter cube. So 1 liter equals 1,000 cubic centimeters. So that means that 85 liters will be equal to 85,000, right? We are just multiplying 85,000 cubic centimeters, right? And now we've been given the radius to be 7 centimeters. So we now get the volume of a cylinder, which we wrote earlier. It will be the same thing, V equals pi r square h. And we just substitute the various values into this formula and solve for the depth of the kerosene. Remember, this formula will be used to represent the volume of the kerosene in the cylinder. So the volume of the kerosene, as we saw in the question, is 85,000, and that will be equal to 22/7, which is the value of pi, times radius is 7, so 7 squared, or we can do 7 times 7. And the height is the same as the depth of the kerosene, which we don't know, we are solving for, so we still make times h. Okay, so this simplifying further is going to give us 85,000 to be equal to this 7 cancel out one of these, so we'll be left with 154h. Then we divide both sides by 154, and then we're going to get 551.948 to be equal to h. And the question says we should calculate to the nearest centimeter, so that is going to give us h to be approximately 552 centimeters. Because of this 9, we run it up, and looking at the possible answers, the correct answer is going to be 552 centimeters, which is option C. And this brings today's study to an end, and I hope this has been of help to you. If yes, then kindly consider subscribing to this channel for more videos like this. Till we meet again in my study room. Bye bye.